Welcome, beautiful people, to the episode 0 of the Hate Me Love Me podcast. Before we get into who I am and this and that, whatever, what this podcast is going to be about, I want to mention that I am very nervous for this because I'm by myself and not with my host, who is behind the camera, unfortunately. But there's a saying that some people have told me before starting this is that to imagine yourself naked. And let me tell you, I feel very, very uncomfortable because the amount of people looking at me behind the camera is very much making me uncomfortable. But yeah, going back on topic about what this video will be, I am Kid Cruz. I will be one of the hosts of this podcast. I will have a co-host who will be Emilio Cruz, my cousin, who of course is related to me since I was born. I think that's how it works. Some of you listening know this guy can be intelligent on these topics and can only make this podcast more fun and exciting. I am really using him for his followers because he has a lot for who he is, surprisingly. So in reality, I am using him, but I think he will still love me. But getting back on topic again, this episode will be the podcast introduction. It'll have me explaining what topics you'll see and look forward to, what kind of guests you will see, if any, and our goals. What you should expect from a podcast is us talking about various pop culture topics, play some games, Q&As, and tons of our funny or serious stories. We will also be discussing the significant sporting events such as wrestling, MMA, basketball, baseball, football, and anything popular in America, because I don't know yet. I need to talk about my co-host about it, but I don't know if we're going international yet. So we'll see later on if this becomes any bigger. But as in our target audience, there is none. As simple as that, because we just want you beautiful specimens to listen and just watch us enjoy what we love. And of course, it's up to you to be interested. But we will have multiple topics that hopefully will tickle everybody's fancies and come to love this podcast for what it is. So for a bit of backstory of how this podcast came to be, I came up with the idea to do a podcast because I wanted something to do over the summer. This whole thing came about at 3 a.m. at my dorm, and I couldn't sleep at all. This was during my finals week and everything. So I started watching some podcasts, keep me entertained. Who I was watching was Theo Vaughn, one of my favorite podcasters. I was watching it. While watching him, I see he was conversing with someone, his guest, and it was someone I don't even know at all. And I was very much enjoying their conversation, and I wanted to know even more about that person. So this inspired me to make a podcast of my own because it seems fun, and because I have learned that I should do the things I like to do and love doing, and that's being able to speak about my favorite topics and tell people my funny stories. And there are people out there who don't know me at all, so I thought a podcast would help them learn even more about me. I later on pitched this podcast to my cousin, who will be the host, sitting next to me, and told him that I wanted to create a podcast, and he asked no questions, thank God, and said, bro, I am down. Right there and then we started investing into this podcast because what's stopping us? Our bank accounts for sure did, though. But we did create this podcast. We didn't create this podcast to look for money or anything, because we just want to discuss our interests and enjoy this time we have. Because when do we have the time to do things like this? You know, all I really want from you people listening or watching right now is to sit back, relax, enjoy the discussions, and just laugh with us or at us. Talking about discussions, we will have, before talking about discussions, I want to mention sorry about the dog barking you will hear in the background. It'll probably be bothersome, and there's probably is other sound. But this is only our first episode, guys, and it's not gonna be perfect. So, uh, like, be patient with us, okay? Talking about going back on topic, talking about discussions. We will have hot takes about certain pop culture films, television, music, and especially sports. So there will be things that people will not agree with, but will find laughable. I hope. Um, but if you are new to sports or whatever, usually this is when it comes up. Hot takes. Hot takes are controversial opinions that some people will have about a certain movie or sport, player or anything. Like, for example, if someone will probably come up with if Anakin Skywalker is really a bad guy for what he did. But that will come up in the podcast and we'll talk about that later. Besides that, in some episodes, we will play games to entertain you lovely people and to entertain ourselves for some kicks and jiggles. Sometimes we will go off topic to tell our stories and experiences only to make this podcast more interesting. As in interviews, we hope to interview friends and family, really, and bring them in to talk because they are the most intriguing to us and we find them the most exciting and most fun people. And plus, we can't afford celebrities and we know our family will accept dinner and snacks. So some episodes you will see probably the same people multiple times, and that's because they are the most knowledgeable about that topic, or they're probably the most interesting person, and probably you guys are mostly looking forward to them. Changing the topic, we do and value your guys' input, and we would love to hear from you guys. In each episode, we'll be asking for questions, topics, and hot takes that you guys have. We would like to hear from you, whether you want to get to know us better or have a burning topic you'd like us to discuss. So feel free to ask anything because this podcast consists of conversing in a free environment. That's a total lie. I'm not gonna lie. If you need advice, we could answer those as well, because it is nice to know that we're not the only people in this world who need therapy. Because there probably will be times that maybe one of us will probably cry. Like my co-host will probably cry if I have an emotional story. He probably have tears coming down his face and everything. You never know. He loves me that much. I think. But we will love to hear. We would love to answer your guys' questions and anything, and we would love to give advice, and if you guys would like to hear from us. But to wrap up this episode, I want to remind my listeners, you guys or viewers, that this podcast will consist of various topics remaining in pop culture and life. So look forward to listening or watching us, because we'll be looking forward to entertaining you guys as well. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow our socials. Please, I'm begging. Please. Bye.